It's the sort of thing that happens nearly every day, an erratic driver raising the eyebrows of other motorists on Boston's hectic roadways. But when Dr. Michael Murphy watched a car swerve across the road in East Boston and pull onto the shoulder, he realized something was wrong. So Murphy went to investigate, and because he did, Matthew O'Connell is still alive today. And earlier today, O'Connell met the man who saved his life for the first time here at our WGBH studios. And they join us here now. Welcome to you both. So, Matthew, do you have a recollection of what happened that day?
I have no recollection at all. I remember getting in my car, leaving the parking lot where I live, and that's it. He ended up saving me 2 miles away from my house. When he got to my car, I was barely conscious, so I think I just drove it on autopilot and was lucky enough not to hit anybody.
Because you'd had a heart attack?
Yes, and like I said, I have no memory at all how I got up there or anything. I just know what they told me. The EMTs and the doctors at Mass General told me that I was lucky there was a doctor right behind me.
Yeah, and doctor, you saw...
He was EM doctor too, ER doctor, I mean, right, so...
You saw this happening, did you, but you didn't know that he was having a heart attack. I mean,
No.
What was your impetus to approach the car?
Well, it was a morning in which I was driving my father to an appointment, actually, early in the morning, a route that I took every day. Boston traffic was, as usual, at 7:38 in the morning, pretty packed. And then suddenly a car just pulled off to the side, and it looked like, honestly, it was doing a three-point turn. And as I passed the car, I glanced a little bit to the side, and it looked like the passenger was leaning over to reach for something. But just in my field in emergency medicine, we kind of are trained to just think of the out of the ordinary as, or basically look for things that don't look correct. And this just didn't look correct. And in my mind, I thought I'd look in the rearview mirror and see what happened. And basically, the brake lights didn't go on. And then also the reverse light didn't go on. So my dad was right next to me. I just pulled over quickly, turned the car off, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Dad, something just doesn't look right." So I got out of the car. By this point, I was maybe about 100 feet from his car, ran to the passenger side and looked in. And by that time, he was slumped over, breathing. I could see that, but he looked horrendous, and I could tell he was gravely ill. So I ran around the car and got to the front door, opened it, and at that point I could see he wasn't breathing, he was pale. And my next concern was, okay, how do I deal with this? And in my training, we go through this on a daily basis, and a lot of it through simulation. I work in a somewhat controlled environment in that we have techs and nurses and doctors and stretchers and oxygen and things to shock people if we need it, but here I am at the side of the road without any of this.
Had you ever done anything like this before, by the way?
I had one other, we deal with it every day on the job, but you know, I had one other event on an airplane that I took care of, but it wasn't anything like this. I mean, he was effectively close to death. But my biggest concern was getting him out of the car, and so the real heroes that day, honestly, were the people that came to my help. Basically, I said to multiple people around me, called for rescue. My dad was there, a bus driver was there, a woman walking her dog was there, and I was trying to get him out of the car, and that was the hardest part, is getting him out of the car and not injuring him.
Well, we just have a few seconds left. How are you feeling now?
I'm doing good now. I feel like myself. I'm walking daily, doing 2.5 miles a day, 1.5 in the morning and another one at night, and doing all right.
Well, you look good, and the doctor said that too.
Yeah, it does look great.
Matthew O'Connell, Michael Murphy, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.